Welcome back, guys. Sorry I've been out for a while. I was trying to grind, focus, get that laser focus and finish this semester at school. Finally was able to get it done. Final week this week, finished all my homework. One semester knocked out, completed. Now, back to making content. Last video I made was showing you the budget of the average salary according to Google. Now, this time I'm gonna drop some nuggets. I've been working in IT for a little over 9+ years, somewhere in there. Making this for this person who thinking about getting in IT, information technology. There are many levels, layers to the onion. But a lot of this can carry over to any place in the corporate space, any skill set. This is the stuff that the book does not teach you. This is what I'm going to drop today. The skills that you need that the book doesn't teach. There are no classes for this. This comes with over time and experience, and I'm giving back to you. I don't want to make a class. I don't want to do a paywall. I just want to give it back. You help me by keep watching this. Come back and watch it again. Come back and watch it again. Come back and watch it again. That helps me out. Like, share, and subscribe my channel. Also, me and my buddy John, we have a podcast that we're making that we want to give back to the youth and share our corporate experiences growing up in the inner city, how we was able to work in the corporate space and have some kind of success, regular people's success, and share our experiences to give them the advantage of coming into the workspace, having some awareness about how things go. So, today, we're gonna go ahead and get into it. It's about corporate skills that, there's no book on it. Maybe there's some self-help book somebody wrote, but I'm talking about from my experiences, my 2 eyes, ears, and mouth, trial and error, things I messed up on. I messed up a lot, and I've done a lot of good. There's a balance there. But trial and error, you will have some trials, you will have some errors. All of us do. It's just part of life. The best part of life is if you take a loss, getting back up and go win again. Don't stop winning. That's the theme. Don't stop winning. Don't get comfortable. Always look to grow. Always want more. You don't have to be greedy because you want more. Some people think because you want more, you're greedy. That's not true. You want the best, or you want everything that your skill set can bring you. You want the max value for that. You don't want to leave nothing on the table. By the time you all said and done, you don't want to leave nothing on the table. Now, let's get into this. My analogy is the corporate space is like playing in the NFL or NBA. It's the same kind of concept. The NFL has rules. The NBA has rules. In order to play in the league, you got to play by those rules. They have referees. They have league rules as far as dress code. If you play for a certain team, you got to wear a certain attire to show that you represent that team. Same way in the corporate world. You work for a company, they have a dress attire, whether it's business casual or business. You represent that company, it's going to cost you. You have to wear something that represents the rules that you have to play by. My second point is you have to have the mental endurance to play through the whistle, even if no foul is called. That's one thing as minority men, young black men, we have to have the mental endurance and the mental toughness to play through the whistle, even though the fouls are not being called, even though it's not fair for everybody. But you have to have the endurance and the wherewithal to work your way through that and get something out of everything that you're in. The best way I can explain it to you is can you be in this circle, get what you need to get without all the can you be somewhere and surrounded by chaos and not let the chaos jump on you? Can you go in there, get what you need to get, even though there's chaos around you, and you not get caught up in the chaos? If you can understand that analogy, just because there's chaos around you, that don't mean you have to get involved in it. You can succeed in a lot of places that you probably didn't think you could. But you have to not get caught up in the chaos that's going on around you, because sometimes you can go to some places, the money's good, everything's good, but when you start working there, you might see there's a bunch of tension, a bunch of chaos. Well, my question is, what does that have to do with you? Why do you have to get caught up in that? But it takes a different kind of mindset to not get caught up in the tension, to not get mad at the ref if they don't blow the whistle to the person who's committing the fouls. You still have to play through that. And, you see somebody in the NBA, the good players, they go for a shot, they get fouled, but they still go for the shot and they make the shot because they build up their strength and play through the foul, through the contact. You got to play through the contact. I'm not saying that there's unfairness, there's going to be things that deal with race, but you have to play through that, get your skill set and level up. And sometimes going through the level up, you see things, you hear things, and sometimes things may happen to you, but if you play through it, I promise you, you'll come out on top and you'll win. So my next point is every team has a uniform that you have to wear. That you have to wear to represent the team. You play for the Cowboys. You got to wear the blue star, the silver, blue, and white, or whatever the colors are. You play for the Kansas City Chiefs. You're gonna be wearing red, yellow, and white with the arrowhead on your helmet. Same thing in the corporate world. You want to work at a high-level job. You're probably gonna be wearing a suit and tie, button-down shirt, and khakis or some slacks and something like that. And guys, there is no excuse now. You literally, what's this website? Alain Dupatit. I think that's how you spell it. I think. Matter of fact, let me look that up. Let me make sure I'm spelling that right. Let me make sure. Oh, take one T out. Okay. Alain Dupatit. You can buy a suit for $50. A suit. You can buy it for $50. Alain Dupatit. No problem. You can buy that suit for $50. No excuses. Now, everybody can't be like Ric Flair and spend $1,500 on a suit. I understand that because I can't either. I try to be like that, but I'm not at that point yet. But I'm getting there. Matter of fact, I'm getting there. I'm almost there. I feel like I'm about 5 or 10 steps away from being at that point. But you can buy a suit for $50. Matter of fact, when I get mine in, I'm gonna do a review on it. Let me know in the comments if you want to see me do a review on a Alain Dupatit suit, $50 suit. It's not about the suit, it's about the person wearing the suit. Now, you can't look as good as me, you don't have, the body of a Greek god like I do, and I understand that, but you can get a suit for $50, and guess what? You can buy a few of these suits, especially when you start getting up there in your tax bracket, start making more money. You can buy a slew of these suits. You can have like a whole fleet of these suits and have your one expensive suit. But wear these to work and you can get those dirty. It's $50. So, guys, that is a deal for a suit. Now, next topic I want to get into is self skills that you can use to help you in the corporate or whatever corporate space you go in. But these are some of the things that helped me that I had to work on myself on, and things that I want to share with anybody, youth, middle age, anybody that want to hear it. Things that I think that's important that I've heard from managers. Managers told me after the interview, some of the jobs I've received. Things that just make the difference, that can make you stand out about knowing about yourself and knowing how to do other things and make yourself sell yourself in the interview. Now, first thing, kind of like building blocks, guys, like Legos. Personality. Personality. What's your personality like? Are you honest about what your personality is like? Sometimes your personality can be the difference between you getting a job and you not getting a job. I've heard that from people personally. I've heard some managers be like, man, I didn't like that person's personality. I don't think that would fit in the company or what we're trying to do. They sounded good technically, but their personality just didn't fit. And most of the time, when you really think about it, when you interview with a company, you really don't know all of what they do. And they know you don't know what all that they do. And they will train you on that. But what they can't train you on is you fitting into the company, you fitting on a team. If you come work for them on a team, are you going to disrupt everything, or is everything going to sync in harmony? So think about that. What is your personality like? Is it a fit-in personality? Can they mesh well with others? Or are you going to come in and destroy everything? You just come in and just take everybody out, you know? Personality means a lot. If you don't have a good personality, you won't even make it past the interview. You can just forget about it. So, something to think about. Another thing is, does your personality fit the career that you're going into? I'm telling you from experience, don't pick something that your personality doesn't fit. I know for me, my personality didn't fit in retail because I wasn't a retail person. I'm more of an analytical thinker, troubleshooter, kind of thinking kind of person, thinking processes and steps. I wasn't a retail guy. I worked in retail when I was younger, and I found out real quick that I'm not made to work at the big box stores and work in retail, because you know why? I was able to outthink a lot of those managers and stuff like that. I'm not trying to say that to be arrogant, but you know, they put me in a department with folding clothes and stuff like that. If that's all you want me to do is fold clothes, no problem. Knock that out the ballpark. And I'm somewhere, I'm in my same department, but I'm out of sight, out of mind. If that's all you need me to do, get that done. But guess what? When I went to school, I found out my personality fit working in information technology. I stuck with it, and that's what I'm currently doing now. And I'm actually finishing up my 4-year degree now in web development. But I've worked at just about every level of IT that you can probably imagine, from help desk to network side, routers and switches, mostly switches, building VLAN, stuff like that in the ISP company. Systems, working on servers and stuff like that. You know, user accounts, Active Directory, different services that require, that needs a server built on the VM, vSphere, VMware, all of that. And every level. Only level I haven't touched yet is the executive level, like, you know, manager, CIO. But one day I'm going to get there. That's one of my goals, is to get to that level, CIO level. That's one of my goals. So, personality. Please make sure that your personality fits the career that you're going into. If you know you don't like looking at ledgers and crunching numbers all day, don't go into accounting. That's simple. Don't go into accounting. If you don't like numbers, you don't like crunching numbers, you don't like keeping up with a budget, you don't like giving out reports about budgets, don't go into accounting. If you don't like people, you don't like talking to people, you're an introvert, don't go into sales. Because you have to talk to people, you have to interact with people. And all I'm saying is, find out what your personality matches with. That is the most important thing. The second part of that is communication. Communication is very important. You can have all the skill set in the world, you can have all the tech skills in the world, but coming from a guy that worked in IT, I'm telling you, the ones that separate, what separates the good ones from the great ones is the communication. Can you communicate to a layman person, or can you communicate to your manager that don't care about the technical stuff? Can you communicate to him what you did on a high level, but without being too nerdy or too technical about it? That's all I'm saying. Can you communicate that? Can you tell him you went to you fixed a user account issue without having to go in him and say, I went into Active Directory, I went into this folder, this organizational unit, and I started found a username, clicked on it, right-clicked on it, put it in the right group, put it in the right section, and now it's fixed. Instead of just saying, I went into Active Directory, I fixed the issue, issues resolved, tickets resolved, we're good. Can you be that clear and concise in one or two sentences? Say what you did without all the tech fluff, because sometimes they'll tell you that I don't need all the tech fluff. That's what you do. Just tell me what you did. Tell me the end result of it. And learning how to communicate. When you go to an interview, that's what they're seeing. They're seeing, can you communicate with other people? Can you play nice, fair with other people? Sometimes the communication can be rough. Sometimes it can be gentle. Sometimes there's a road in between. You have to be able to find that balance for you, the communication. Communication can be the difference between you making mid-level money or high-level money. All up to you. All about what you want, how you want to communicate things. You work for small companies. Sometimes, like say me working in IT, you have to work with everybody in the company. You're dealing with call center all the way up to the CEO. If you talk to the CEO, can you talk to a CEO, have a conversation with the CEO of a company without it being awkward or without you feel like you're going to lose your job? Because a lot of people have anxiety about communicating with executives. They're just regular people too. Now, there are some Haley Cummins executives that feel like they're on top of the world and, you know, they're above reproach. But most of the ones I've ran into are actually pretty cool people. Even when I've left the company and they never gave me any slack, they actually told me congratulations. And I've learned a lot from being, you know, helping executives working on their stuff and stuff like that. Learn a lot about, you know, the communication aspect of being a high level person. That's what I aspire to be. Before I got into IT, I did not know anything about CEO, a CIO, or CTO. But I've been exposed to those different positions. And let me tell you something. Those positions, people be afraid of them. They really are not that bad. You just have to really have communication skills, be more consistent, have good leadership skills, and also you have to attend a lot of meetings. You're not doing a lot of the hands-on anymore. You're managing the hands-on people, and you're making sure that projects get done and statuses are updated and getting done at the same time. So you get out of the whole tech realm now you're in the management realm and leadership realm. So something to think about. And communication is very important in leadership in the technical realm. The next one is after you figure out your personality, communication, emotional, control. What I mean by that is being able to not get caught up or overreact to things that happen even if they are not fair or right. the best analogy that I can give you is kind of like being in the neighborhood or around things happen, and some people freak out. Some people have to say something. Some people, like, I know that wasn't right, but sometimes I gotta have the control to not react in a way that could get me jammed up, get me fired, or put a stain. Like, you may not get fired, but now you're on eggshells now. You got to have that control. But because in the corporate world, there are some people, I'll write this down, who use the job as a shield to say, what can I say? Crazy things to people. Yep, they use the job as a shield to say crazy things to people. I've seen it. I've been a part of it. It's happened to me. But having that emotional control, people will respect you, and they also realize that, hey, this is not just the average guy, because most people know somebody say a cuss word to you or look at you crazy. That's easy to give them that same energy back. That's easy. But when you learn how to have that emotional control and say, I'm not going to give you the pleasure to see me break down or to see me come back at you so you can go get me fired. I'm not going to give you that pleasure. That's the mindset that you want to have. And the best way I can tell you is, write this down. The best way I can tell you is be flexible, not rigid. You want to be flexible and not rigid. When you're flexible, you can't break because you're flexible. When you're rigid, you can break because you're stiff. You only want to go one way. Now, most people in life, sometimes, like this personality, they only did things one way most of their lives. So naturally, sometimes they deal with being rigid because they only did things one way. If you've done a lot of things multiple ways and you see multiple results, sometimes that makes you more flexible because you know different ways. One thing about people that have worked with me in IT, especially when I worked in help desk or like IT specialist, which pretty much like help desk and mid-level combined, is when I troubleshoot something, I don't do it the conventional way, if there's even such a thing. Everybody eat their Reese's different. There's more than one way to eat a Reese's. Don't let somebody deter you to be rigid if you have a way, long as you're not taking nothing down, long as you're not messing up something. There's so many ways to troubleshoot something. And sometimes, some things, there's only one way. And sometimes there's more than one way. But what I'm saying is, be flexible in your thinking and in your emotional control and not be rigid. Because when you're rigid, you're going to say, if somebody says something to me, I'm going to go off. You're going to be rigid. Flexible is saying, they would not say this if they saw me at the Shell gas station on our lunch break. They're saying this because they're in the job, they're inside of the job. They're saying that because they're inside the job, and they're using that as a shield. Because a lot of people, it's so hypocritical, they'll say stuff to you, but if you say something back, now they want to go to HR and get you fired. So it's almost like they try to get you doomed. You're doomed if you say something, and then if you're not flexible in your mind, you'll be doomed if you don't say something now because you feel like somebody tried to punk you or something like that, but that's not the case. You have to understand that this person is using the job as a shield, and Sometimes you have to get through the day. Sometimes get through that whole circumstance. The circumstance may feel like it take a long time, but it only be like a 5-minute circumstance. And because you said, I can't let that go, I got to say something, I got to go off, now you could lose your job because you want to get back at the person. You got to speak your mind and you got to say what you want to say. Hey, that's what you want to do, that's fine. Understand that every road you go down, is called the piper, the toll. You got to pay that toll. Whatever's at the end of that road, you got to pay that toll. You want to go off? You want to go off on somebody? Speak your mind, or live to fight another day? Your choice. It's your choice. But just know, when you get here, you got to pay the piper. Every road has a choice at the end. I've been down some roads. I've paid the price on many roads. All of them wasn't the same. I paid many prices. And I'm telling you from experience. But the best thing is a learning experience. And like an old man told me when I was working at the airport, he said, try not to make the same mistake twice. Learn from your trial and errors. Try not to make the same mistake twice. And I'm telling you, if you live like that, that will help you out a lot. Try not to make the same mistake twice. Next topic. Let's see. I'll leave that. Work ethic. Work ethic. Work ethic. Can you be consistent? Can you be on time? Can you be dependable? Work ethic. When you're sitting at your desk, I know I work in IT, we sit at a desk in a chair all day. Are you going to be there doing your job, managing your time, or do you have to be micromanaged? Somebody standing over you the whole time. Because a lot of times, you're sitting in a chair, with a computer, and that's your job. You're sitting in the chair most of the day, looking at tickets, especially when you get past help desk. Like guys, if you're working at help desk, please level up at some point. Don't stay in help desk. Level up, get your money up, get your skill set up, get your money up, and be sitting here. I'm telling you guys that work at those retail stores and big box stores, I didn't know that there are jobs that you don't even stand up at all unless you have to walk around and stretch out or go to the bathroom or something like that, where you sit down at a desk on a computer probably for 7 to 8 hours. You don't have to walk around on your feet. You don't have to stand up on a fatigue mat that don't work. You're sitting down in a chair on a computer for 8 hours. And if you have the work ethic, people see that. It stands out. They say, oh yeah, I can bring him in because I know he's gonna do the job. He can come work in my department. Let me get him. Come over here. They'll actually they'll come get you. Come work, man. Yeah, come over here and work. What you majoring in? What you go to school for? Yeah, man, come work for me. And I'm telling you, work ethic means a lot. It says a lot without you saying anything. Work ethic can take you further than what you think you could go. But you have to build your work ethic. You have to be able to, you're going to give up a few things for work ethic. You may not be able to do all the extra stuff everybody else is doing to maintain your work ethic. Work ethic, I'm telling you, is one of the key things right here. Personality, communication, emotional control, and work ethic. Next thing is figure it out. A lot of times, there used to be a time where you would get hired and you would go to an orientation and they would train you probably for almost a month about what you was doing. And over the years, that has almost gone away. Most jobs you get now, you may have a person there and they kind of go over stuff with you, get you up to speed of what's going on, give you some tickets, get you up to speed, and next thing you know, now, you have your own queue of tickets that you're working on, and now you're starting to challenge yourself and work on problems. Being able to figure it out, research it, Google it, is one of the most important things you can learn how to do, because there are two people out there. There's people that figure it out, and then there's people that always want somebody to hold their hand and show them the answer all the time. And that gets old. I'm telling you, it'll get old. And it'll show, it says, it communicates without you saying it that you're not taking the time to try to figure it out. Now, if you try to figure it out and you can't get the answer, people will respect that more. But if you don't try this first and you just say, I don't know how to do this, can you show me? Or not, can you show me, just give me the answer. Instead of just saying, you know what, I did is 5 steps to this, and I tried, and I got stuck at step 4. Can you help me with step 5? Can you help me get from 4 to 5? Most people are like, yeah, if you did that, yeah, you did 1, 2, 3. Yeah, the rest of that's right. Let me show you how to get to the end. That shows that you tried to figure it out. And you just need the last few steps. People respect it more. I guarantee you they will. I've been there and I've done it, and I'm telling you, you ask the right questions. Asking the question is, sometimes the question you ask will show what did you do before you came and asked a person. Think about that. The next thing is can you be a great team player? When you work in certain places, certain positions, you're a part of a team. Unless you work in a part where it's just you, but most of the time you're a part of a team. Can you be a great team player? Are you the person that can galvanize the team, or are you the person that destroy the team, blow you like a nuclear bomb? You're just waiting to blow everything up. Or do you have a negative attitude where everything ain't working you too much? Or why they got us doing this? Why they got us doing that? I don't want to do this. Then you start making that contagious of being negative. Can you be a great teammate? That makes a difference too. Can you work in a team environment? Are you able to share information with each other in a team? A lot of times you have these kind of teams where everybody works with each other and they share information. They didn't write it out too big. And then you have a team that everybody is solo. And hoard information. Some people do that. You don't want to be a part of that team. Those are some tough teams, and they will almost desensitize you if you be on those kind of teams, because it'll make you, in my mind, because I'm a flexible thinker, it made me more resilient. It made me really hone in on figuring it out. But it's refreshing when you work for a team that share information, a team that uplift each other. They don't beat each other down. Everybody's positive with each other. Those are more refreshing than those. These teams, you asking me another question again, man? Why you ain't got it figured out yet? Man, I thought I showed you this the other day. Those kind of teams will desensitize you, and the culture is crazy. But if you're flexible, emotional control, if you have the mental flexibility, you can adapt to either one of those. Nobody wants this, but sometimes that's the hand that you dealt. And if you're mentally flexible, you'll find a way to operate in this and overcome this kind of scenario. When you're flexible, your whole team is flexible. Y'all can solve just about any problem that comes your way. But because a good team is they don't panic, they bring their heads together and they solve problems. But when you have this kind of team, it's tough because everybody's on their own accord. It's almost like 5 ninjas instead of a Marine Corps. It's almost like 5 ninjas, and ninjas going in their own direction. And ninjas don't really team up; they kind of solo assassins. So that's another thing. And a bonus that I want to talk about is, if you're here, being able to learn from your surroundings. If you're here, being able to learn from different positions. Let's say CIO, assistant director, your manager, programming, call center. Let's see, what's another one? Let's say I did director already. Let's just say CEO, owner. Being able to learn from these positions when you're in their presence, being able to get some nuggets. Let's say you go work on the CEO computer, right? You go work on his computer. If you have the communication skills, the personality, and the mental flexibility, if you have those 3 things, you can go work on his computer and you can talk to him about things that only a CEO can give you wisdom on or can talk about. But if you don't have these things, you're just gonna go in there and fix your computer and walk away. But if you have personality, communication, mental flexibility, you guys will be talking about some stuff that you may not be able to do yet, but you will have some knowledge. So if you ever get to that point, you will understand and do. But like, I talked to the CEO about this, and he told me that this could happen or this will happen. This is how you handle that. And because you had these 3 things, you was able to get that information before you even got there. And I'm telling you, this happens all the time. Let's say CIO, you go work on this computer. Or let's say you go to lunch with the CIO. You know, you go on a team, you go to lunch, and it's a casual setting, and you just get to talk to the CIO. You get to learn some cool stuff. He get to tell you about his journey going to school. You get to learn about, you know, different decisions that's being made. You see how things are handled. Like, they talk about contracts and, you know, IT stuff that's behind the scenes that you might not get to hear because you're working in the office. You get to learn a lot from these different positions. Managers, you know, you get to learn, he was in meetings all day. You get to learn about how to handle meetings. If you're by his office, you get to hear him in meetings and stuff like that. Call center, you get to learn how call centers work. You get to learn how different software that they use. In case you want to own a business or do some consulting, you know about voice over IP phones, different computers that they use, And you're like, I know somebody needs some computers. I know what computers to buy now because the call center use these computers. They don't have any problems out of them. They've been using them for 5 years. And the only problem they have is maybe RAM, but you can tell the person to get more RAM. You can consult with them now. Director, you get to learn about what directors do. You may not learn everything, but you get to see day to day, a day-to-day task that a director do. You may see, he may tell you about some projects he's working on, paperwork that he's doing, things that's upcoming, all kind of stuff that you can learn by just gleaning and listening, and by having those three things. It gives people comfort to talk to you about those things because they know that you got the personality, you can communicate back to them, and you have the mental flexibility that you won't feel like, because this is an executive, he's acting like he's over you or he's better than you. There are some executives and managers and directors that are not like that. I've experienced it for myself, and I'm telling you, they're not like that. So, learning from that to help you make better informed decisions by learning about those different things. Don't be afraid to learn new stuff. Don't be afraid to challenge yourself. Come out of comfort, because comfort will make you stagnated. Comfort will make you not want to do it. You be like, I'm comfortable. I think I'm fine. I'm good. So I'm going to stop it right here. Any comments, let me know. I had to give you a little bit more because it's been a while, so this may be a little bit longer than usual, but I don't have no problem with that. Comment, let me know, like, share, subscribe. Please check out the podcast we're making, the Thinking Game podcast, where we talk about our journey in the corporate space and going to school. Don't let nobody tell you that education is not important. That's not true. It is. There are positions. Matter of fact, I want to show you something. There are positions. I got some room. There are positions. Let's see. You got this level, this level, this level, and this level. In IT, let's say help desk, network, programming, systems. You got manager, directors, and then you got CIO. Now, this is entry level. You may not need a degree for that. You may be looking at $15K to $32K. An IT specialist is kind of like a hybrid between these, and you may be at 32 to maybe 48 if you're good, 48, something like that, 48 if you're good. And then systems, the back end part, you could be looking at 35 to about, I want to say about maybe 65, somewhere in there. Depends on where you at. Smaller markets is in there somewhere, depending on where you work at. And then you get to here, you could be looking at from about 55 to about 85, depending on how good you are. And this is up. I mean, you're talking about 85 and up, probably to about, let's say just ballpark, 200K a year. From me seeing stuff, working in IT, this DD position. This, you may not need a degree. You may not need a degree for this. This, you may need a 2-year degree. You may need a 2-year degree for that. You start getting into here, 2-year degree and a 4-year degree. 4-year degree. 4-year degree will get you probably somewhere in here. 4-year degree probably get you in there. But the thing is, you need a 4-year degree and you need experience. Experience in the field. So let's say 4-year degree for this. You may need experience from here to here. You may need about a 5-year experience in IT plus a 4-year degree. That's why we tell you on the podcast, and I tell you, while you going to school, find you an internship, and you can get the degree alongside of working at the same time. No problem. People be looking for that all the time. You just got to know how to communicate, have a personality, emotional control, work ethic, being able to figure out, and that'll come with time, and a great team player. You have those? You have those 6 things? You can build off of that. Foundation, you can build off of that, and we'll go wherever you want to go. And get this and this linear with each other, you can go someplace, I'm telling you. So, in order to get here, CIO, 85 to 200K, you have to have master's degree. Or better, or PhD. Master's degree or better, PhD, and you will get here. And it's nothing is guaranteed, but any way you can increase your chance, you want to increase your chance. And people say, you got all this college debt and stuff, but guess what? People buy cars and put debt on cars, and then the car break down and it's sitting in their yard and they still paying on the car. You can go to school for 4 years, another 2 years, and you can line yourself up to get anywhere from 55K to 200K once you get the degree and experience. If you buy a car, a high-end car, a Mercedes or something, only thing you're going to do is drive it off the lot and the car going to drop. But if you invest in your education and you spend your money wisely, you can set yourself up for that. I've seen it. I didn't think it existed till I worked in IT and I started seeing these different positions. I started being exposed to it. And when you know what? If you looked on LinkedIn, a lot of those guys who are CIOs and stuff, they have their education on there. They have their job, their resume on there. You can see the journey of these guys. And it's free. It's free information. All you got to do is go look at it. LinkedIn, just look up the run-of-the-mill CEO or CIO, anybody, and you can see their path. You can see their education. Most CIOs have a master's degree. Most of them, I'm going to say about 85 to 90% of them have a master's degree, unless they know somebody and they had a special case of knowing somebody with a lot of networking, but most of them have a master's degree or better, or PhD, or a JD. You know what I'm saying? So education is key. It is useful and it can get you places. But getting a degree in something that don't make sense won't get you there. But most of the people that have a degree in like a 4-year degree in computer science and then a master's in like organizational communication or business administration or something like that, from looking on LinkedIn from what I've been seeing. What I'm saying is education can work. Don't fall for the okie doke. get it educated in something. Education does work, and education is key. That's what can get you to the next level, especially in today's time with inflation and all this other stuff. So, this is Mike Flair, aka Call Me Mike. Comment below, let me know what you think. I'm signing out. I gave you a good one. I'm signing out. Thanks for watching. And I will be making more content. And thank you for giving me time to get my schoolwork done and get this semester done, and more content to come. Thanks for watching.